Is China challenging? It must be challenging for you, Ian, living in China. I don't know how you do it. That is what someone said to me recently. And guess what I said back? So they said to me, it must be very challenging for you, Ian, living in China. And they said, I don't know how you do it. And I said, wait for it, I said, not at all. I love it. It's been an amazing experience and I've loved just about every minute of it. What happened next is I closed the conversation down. I should have had a different conversation. Often I don't, but actually what happened next was nothing much. They were happy that I liked China so much and the conversation and moved on quick time onto something else. It wasn't actually until later on that I was lying in my bed thinking it over, reflecting on the full conversation, that I stopped at that point and then realised I should have pushed back on that conversation. I should have maybe asked why they thought China would be challenging for me. And the answer could have been most likely because of the language barrier, because that is often what people cite. People would highlight the language, or they would talk about restrictions on movement, or they would say they couldn't handle the food, and sometimes they would talk about the oppression, and then the usual stuff would kick in, the things that they hear on the media. And it is often for that reason that I just sort of close down conversations and I move on, because I can seriously lose energy trying to convince people about the reality of living my life in China at this moment in time. The food is awesome. Moving around is extremely easy. The high-speed rail, the metro system, taxi apps in English, the easy payment systems, and how I never really use money these days. I could go on about how I feel more free here in China than I do when I'm back in the UK or in the West, because how safe things are here in China. It's very safe in China, really safe. Again, with these conversations, I find myself I would be wasting my time because it often falls on closed off ears, on minds where people have never had an alternative experience in life, because often they don't take a risk in their life. And to be fair, the guy I was speaking to, the guy I was speaking with, he was a good guy, and I should have had a better conversation with him. Even though he's not a risk taker, I think he's more receptive to listening to the reality of what's happening in China. It's my bad. I'm actually looking for something that might surprise you. I think it's over here. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a second. I think I'm lost. But when I think about my own risk taking, I honestly wish I had taken so many more risks in my life. And I've taken a few, had some failed, and I have learned most of the time from that failure. But I honestly wish I had been more of a risk taker in life. I have now learned the value in that, probably a little bit later in life. Like most parents, I would tell my son, take more risks. I think I'm probably like most parents in the sense that I'm trying to live my life through their experiences, but I do tell my son, take more risks. Probably need to stop doing that, let him live his life. But I do need to encourage him to take more risks, get out there and do crazy things, learn. And when you fall on your arse, pick yourself up, learn, go and do something else. But on the flip side of that failure, that high failure rate, you will no doubt end up having some success. So it is worthwhile trying things and failing. And I've learned that now in life. Try and fail. Now there's a link back to China on this, and I'll explain. As soon as I find out or find what I'm looking for, I think it's here somewhere. Somewhere. I want to see a camel. Yeah, a camel. I'm in Beijing. What's wrong with that? I want to see a camel. I'm hoping it's open. Might not be. Stay tuned. I'll come back to that China link, back to taking risks at some point. This is a Mongolian themed restaurant, themed park. But when I think of risk and failure, I think of the way China goes about innovating and fleshing out its focus on certain industries. The electric vehicle industry is a great example of this. If you go back to the year 2000, the central government identified that the EV industry, amongst others, many others, was a core component for China to grow and get ready for the success it would have to have in the rest of the remaining of this century. They set goals, priorities, and supported with incentives. And this meant that there was fierce competition as companies and entrepreneurs stepped up to take risks in developing EVs, electric vehicles. So by 2008, there was about 500 EV startups, but by 2018, this was whittled down to about 40. And the others that took risk, some of the failures, these companies that moved on to innovate different things, taking what they learned, they actually failed, but moved on to other things. The 40 or so that were successful, they learned that the competition was key for them in forcing the survivors to innovate on pricing features and the support infrastructures, EVs, charging stations and so on. And for me, this is capitalism at its finest. Companies now like BYD rival Tesla in features and pricing. In 2023, China sold 9.5 million EVs, which is about 60% of the global sales. In 2023, China exported 1.2 million EVs, becoming the world's largest exporter. Brands like BYD, Huawei, targeting Europe, great pricing. In fact, pay a wee bit more in Europe because of the tariffs. And well, how much they sell in America, who knows? But what I do know, though, is that this has got the fear of God in America, the American auto market. They're panicking, and I often read about who in America would buy a poorly built, cheap Chinese car, which makes me laugh because I've been in these cars. They are exceptional, amazing cars. I'm in and out of them here in China, Beijing, all the time. And because of America's fear, it just means that the rest of the world will move on and engage with the whole EVs while America's left behind in their huge gas guzzling vehicles. Each to their own, I suppose. Anyway, the moral of this video is to take risks. Fail, win, either way. Take the time to take the risk and to learn, then come back stronger. And I know I'm going to do more of that in the future. This is Ian, just about to go and find that vehicle of the past, a camel. Let's get the link. If you actually watch my videos, there's always a link, there's always a reason why I'm in a certain area, because it links back back to the conversation on the video. Talking about EVs, I'm going to go see a camel, because that is the only animal that's going to get you across a desert. I think there's a camel here. Stick with me, I'm going to go find it. There is definitely camels here, I'm sure there is. I'm sure. I've seen them before. So I'm a wee bit disappointed. Just asked the guy if there was some camels here, and he said they're no longer here. So there goes my attempt to link back to the vehicle of times long gone. Although camels here are now extinct, which is maybe a link back to the the American auto industry. They don't buck up their ideas. Who knows? Anyway, it's me, Ian, here in Beijing in a Mongolian themed restaurant, themed park, whatever it's called, it's actually near a place called Chaoyang Park. Excuse my words today. So if you're ever in Beijing and you want to come to an unusually themed place, come here in the evening. It's all lit up. I have been here before, a couple of years back. There was camels back then. Anyway, take care. Peace out. Heading back.
So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.